This is my Staryu Guitaryu, a fully working electric guitar I built from scratch. And today I'm going to show you how I made it, then I'll take it to a professional rocker to see how he rates it, and finally I'm going to see if I can play some music of my own that is at least tolerable to the public. And to both build this guitar at home and play it in public later, I'm going to be using Jackery Solar Generator 5000 Plus. But more on that later, because first, how do you actually design a guitar? Because personally, I don't know anything about guitars, but thankfully there's been a lot of 3D printed guitars that have popped up recently. From the Prusa guitar, to this monster guitar, to this LED bejazzled guitar. It's a wacky world out there, and I want in. And in classic big rig fashion, I saw this concept art of the Staryu guitar on the internet, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make that real. But making this mock-up into real life wasn't going to be easy. For starters, guitars are very particular about their string length, and this design was completely missing the pickups which sense the string vibrations. The neck here is attached to nothing at all, and I'm going to have to make sure the center part doesn't interfere with the strings. And on top of that, I'm going to have to design and make this within 8 days, so it's ready to go in time for Midwest Gaming Classic, a gaming convention in Milwaukee where my friend Brian Koenig is going to be performing. Brian's a really skilled guitarist, and not only does he play for the heavy metal band Lords of the Trident, but he also has a solo act where he really shreds some video game covers. So I really want to finish this in time so he can test it out. And everything's going to start with this DIY guitar kit I bought that was going to give me the most amount of room to play with in the center. And while I won't be using the body, I did need it so I could take some precise measurements. And after a few days of working furiously in Onshape, I think everything's ready to print out. And as much as I love my 3D printers, they take quite a bit of juice to run. And if you're anything like me, you've noticed how expensive electricity bills have been getting lately. So that's why I'm so happy that this video is sponsored by Jackery and their Solar Generator 5000 Plus. This beast is an essential home backup system. That means no matter what scenario you're in, you can make sure that you'll have the power to keep on going indoors or outdoors. Like last month, there was a huge storm that hit my city, and when the power went down...
I'm not even kidding, the lights just went out, so it's time for me to save everything that's in the fridge. Okay, we're plugged in. I just pressed the DC button, and we are back in business. Let's go.
I was actually able to save all my food in the fridge until the power came back on.
And we're back.
And beyond being a power backup, Jackery Solar Saga 500 watt panels make charging the 5000 Plus a breeze, even if the sun isn't always in the optimal location. And since it's expandable to 60 kilowatt hours and up to 14,400 watt output, printing on my power hungry printers and even keep my AC unit running was no problem. And it was all powered by the sun. Throughout the printing process, I was saving almost $3 every single day, so you can imagine how much I'll be saving in the long run. So if you're interested in saving some cash on your bills, and you want to power your life uninterrupted, check out my link in the description to learn more. Thanks to Jackery again for sponsoring, and now let's check in on those 3D prints. So here we have all the pieces, and the next steps were to sand, glue, and fill in all the gaps with wood putty. Now it looks a little scrappy now, but it's nothing a good paint job can't fix. And for the paint, I started with these guys, but to really give it that extra special guitar look, I got some glitter to really make this star shine. And even the packaging knew it was meant for this project. And man, I was happy with these results. I mean, these pieces were starting to look like an actual expert guitar. So it was time to assemble everything. But there was one more important piece. For the center gem, I'm using some epoxy resin, and while I wanted the gem to have this curved dome shape, but because I needed the center to be flat, it just didn't look very good sitting in there. So instead I went with this flat cylinder that I think still looks pretty dang good. Now I just had to screw in the neck, solder up the electronics and get them slotted inside, and finally it was time to string everything up. And I didn't catch it on camera, but I did accidentally pop one of the strings, and Midwest Gaming Classic is tomorrow, so I guess I'll just have to pack it up and deal with it in the morning. Thankfully at the guitar shop the next day, my friend Johnny was willing to help me re-string and test the guitar, and all he wanted in return was an old GameCube disc.
Thanks, man.
So with everything stringed up, Johnny started testing, and immediately we heard some issues.
Why does the D sound bad?
But it seemed like with certain playstyles, this guitar could still produce a pretty good sound. But that's all the time we had, because we had to get to Midwest Gaming Classic. And while most people were here to play on obscure consoles, play a buttload of pinball, see the Pikachu car, game on the world's biggest Game Boy Advance, or on a Game Boy Watch, and even play corrupted Tekken with friends, I was here to see if Brian could take my gaming guitar and make some magic happen.
This is only a week of knowledge, so hopefully it holds up, but
all right.
Here
we go.
The reveal.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Here we go.
Reveal. It's in tune, but some of the full chords might not sound perfect, if that makes sense. I was told that if you're skilled, you can just make it work, though, as a guitarist.
No pressure.
The action is a tiny bit high. I will concede that.
The action's a little high.
But that's okay. We can work with this. We can do this.
And right away, the problems were pretty clear.
What's happening a little bit is that because the action is on the higher side, just by pushing it into the neck, I'm actually pushing the strings a little out of tune. What this would work really good for is if I had a slide, but I don't have that with me this weekend, unfortunately.
I bet I can find you a beer bottle.
Yeah. In here? No way. 1 second. All right, let's get down to business. Let's do the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
But despite all this, Brian was still able to make the Staryu Guitaryu sound like a legit instrument. And I have a history of when I take my projects outside the home, they tend to collapse or completely break down. So I was a little proud that I finally made something that didn't completely implode and actually worked. And while some of the chords were still a bit off, the important thing is Brian stuck the landing.
So initial impressions would be, the idea is great. Like having part of the guitar like right up here is a little weird, but not impossible, not the end of the world. Probably like another week in the shop or just a few days to like get the action worked out, and this would be a completely different animal. Right now, again, it's at the point where unfortunately the action is high enough that just fretting a note pushes the string out of tune. So that's why my power chords are all kind of
Crunchy.
Yeah, bittersweet, if you will. No, this is something else. Thanks for letting me play this.
Of course. I'm glad you enjoyed.
So all things considered, I'm calling this a huge win. But when I got home, I realized there was a big problem. That disc I gave to Johnny earlier was worth a lot more doubloons than I thought. So it was time to give him a ring.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey.
Hey, you remember that disc I gave you a couple days back? I was wondering if I could actually get that back.
Ooh, the real expensive one? I don't know, I kind of like the way it looks on my shelf.
Johnny, come on, man. What are you doing? I need that back.
Okay, I got a funny idea. If you can learn to play something on the Staryu Guitaryu in 3 days, then I'll give it back to you.
What? Since when are you the YouTuber doing challenges? What are you talking about? I can't learn. Who's supposed to learn a guitar in 3 days?
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
So yeah, with only 3 days, I hatched up a plan. First, I had to do some maintenance work to the guitar, like shaving down the bridge a bit so the first 2 strings sounded better, and the body of the Staryu started to flex and break a little bit due to the strength of the strings, so I had to reinforce that with some backing plates. But there's still the issue of me not knowing how to play guitar. So in this scenario, what was my best option?
That's right, we're gonna cheat.
This is Rocksmith, a game from the PS3 era that promises to teach you how to play guitar, but in the style of Guitar Hero. Now with my amount of time, I could only do the beginner stages, which only has you playing a single note every few seconds, but as you can see, I'm technically playing the guitar. And after putting in many hours of practicing, it was time for me to strap in all my gear and make my way to the venue. And here we are at this beautiful outdoor performance venue where I'm playing to an audience of Johnny, and I have my amp, TV, and gaming rig all running outdoors thanks to the Jackery Solar 5000 Plus. So it's time to get this show started.
Time to tune it. All right, Johnny. 3 days.
Let me show you what I've learned.
I'm in trouble. I mean, my hair is in more trouble, but that's beyond the point. As you can see, the song began with a bit of a sloppy start. And when I was hitting the notes, it looked like I was a vulture in the desert, just kind of picking at it. But that's okay, because what really matters is nailing the ending. And if that wasn't enough, I still had one more thing prepared.
And if you really don't think I'm a rock star, listen to this. Yeah, Louie, baby. That's it. That's it. I know that. I'm a rock star.
But now it was time to get down to business.
Okay, Johnny, I learned to play guitar. Now where's my game?
I didn't bring it.
That was the point of the whole video. You're supposed to bring it. You ruined the video. Why didn't you bring it?
I mean, you were supposed to bring some real music.
Touché.
Special thanks to the executive level patrons: Snowblows, Don Necco, X9 5 times, Grandma Watson, Connor Rhodes, Zebrabang, Sally and Dave, Pow Pow, Ulysses Mora, Marco Carini, Evan Timmerman, Harley Jean, and Jameson Zabayos.